Another former NFL player turned analyst uses what is becoming a very common tactic to get clicks. But a Philadelphia Eagles leader calls bullshit. All that and more coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Sports.
Can you feel it? Can you feel that excitement?
The merchandise, wearing the hats.
Chris Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
And I'm telling you, if you let Eli Manning walk into that stadium.
Music.
Wow.
Man, again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goosebumps.
Whoa!
And more.
What's his next book going to be called? Spineless?
Mike.
The weather is hot and the news is slow. It is the NFL's dead zone as far as it comes to news and rumors, and there's not much circulating. I get it. Guys, I'm the good brother of Broad Street, the reigning 1CW Heritage Champion and the 2020 Big League Fantasy Football Champion, professional wrestler Chris Wild, live from bar 4133. And I understand that if you're one of these guys that has to go on ESPN or the NFL Network and has to speak and analyze and you're running out of things to say, I understand that sometimes you gotta kind of push the boundaries, toe the line, maybe step over it or tiptoe on it at least. But what is becoming a very common tactic with these guys is if you need clicks, if you need attention, if you need likes, the way to do it is usually coming after a Philadelphia sports athlete or team. Now in the NFL, that is the Eagles. It is happening more and more. And why? Because guys like me, people like you, fans of this team, we're very passionate. I think the most passionate fans in the NFL, and everybody knows if you come at one of our guys, we are going to come right back. And Michael Robinson is the latest victim of the Philadelphia Eagles fans, and for good reason, as he came after Nick Sirianni, the Philadelphia Eagles' brand new head coach, the other day when he said he's not going to name any names. Of course not. Why would he do that? He's not going to name any names, but there are some guys in the locker room that don't believe in Nick Sirianni and don't know if he can lead this team. And I'm paraphrasing, and you'll see the actual graphic here coming up. And look, first off, no shit. Like if you're a football player, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles football player, and you got a guy like Nick Sirianni who's proven, who's never been, who's unproven. Who's never been a head coach, and he comes in, of course you're going to have some questions. Of course you are. It's not going to be all rah-rah, and you're not going to automatically believe in this guy. It's not like Bill Belichick is coming into your team. So, of course, there's going to be questions. But Michael Robinson doesn't stop there. He creates this negative light on Nick Sirianni, saying that when Nick Sirianni was the coach of the Colts, it's not like players were coming to the Colts for Nick Sirianni. They were coming there because of Frank Reich. Well, again, no shit. What player, and I've never played in the NFL, but what player goes to a team because of an offensive coordinator? Does that happen? I don't think so. Of course, that's not the main reason why they're going to the Colts. It's just, and he starts questioning Sirianni's success as a coordinator. It's really cringeworthy. It's a cringeworthy hot take for this guy, Michael Robinson, who was a fourth-round pick, a fullback, did win a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks, and did actually go to a Pro Bowl. So that's a lot more than we can say for Dan Orlovsky, who last week, of course, went after Jalen Hurts in his praise of Carson Wentz. Again, as you can see, there is this common denominator, and it is the Philadelphia Eagles. And when these guys talk about the Eagles, they get those clicks. And I know I heard somebody say last week that these guys are paid analysts. They don't need the clicks. Well, like content creators do. Well, they absolutely do need the clicks, because the more clicks they get, the more popular they are, the more they're more it makes their name worth, which makes them worth more for their next contract or whatever when they get another deal with another network. So obviously Michael Robinson is taking this stance. Well, one of our guys, one of the Philadelphia Eagles leaders, actually was on air at his offensive line masterminds workshop, and that is Lane Johnson. And Lane Johnson, and this is before Michael Robinson came out with this report, which makes it even dumber. had some good things to say about Nick Sirianni.
A great command of the team early on. I think what I appreciate about him most is he holds everybody accountable. So when we go to practice, it doesn't matter if you're a veteran, a rookie, first day. If you're making mistakes, he'll push you on the board and not to call you out, but really to kind of get you better. And I think what that shows, if he can do that with veterans, then the younger guys will come along as well. So that's been my impression early on. It's been a lot of fun and really a lot of energy. So. But moving forward, man, we have a lot to prove.
So Lane Johnson saying that Nick Sirianni has a good command of the football team. That right there is the quote for me, because of course, as an Eagles player, you're not going to down your new head coach. But you don't have to go that far. You can say, look, I'm excited. I think, he's going to be good. But to go into depth as Lane Johnson did, I think it says something. And I'm going to believe a guy like Lane Johnson over a guy like Michael Robinson. I feel like I said this last week when it came to Jalen Hurts and Dan Orlovsky. But this is just, I hate the hate that these guys are getting, whether it be Hurts or whether it be Sirianni. And again, the hate comes with love, because at the same time, it puts a huge chip on these guys' shoulders. Michael Robinson saying that he believes Nick Sirianni was put into place because Jeffrey Lurie needed a yes man and Doug Peterson wasn't going to be that yes man anymore. Doug Peterson got fired because he wanted Press Taylor and Matt Burke as offensive and defensive coordinator, pretty much. Look, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan and you watched every snap of every game for years like I have and many of you have, you know that Press Taylor ain't cutting it. Matt Burke ain't cutting it. You needed some new blood in there. When Doug wasn't able to bring that, they both decided to leave. I think Doug was the yes man, and I love Doug Peterson. Anybody that watches this channel or has followed me knows I think Doug Peterson is the best head coach in Eagles history, because he brought us to Super Bowl. Now, obviously, Andy Reid would probably take that honor in most minds, but I'll never forget 2017. I'll never forget the Philly special, all these great things that Doug Peterson brought. So this isn't a slight to Doug Peterson. Now, Nick Sirianni, on the other hand, very energetic, very headstrong type guy. And I don't know about you guys, but when you have guys like this and in any kind of workplace or just in your life in general, these energetic, headstrong guys are not the easiest guys to deal with. They're not the kind of guys that are just yes men and that will just listen to anything. These guys are very much, and I'm talking about with this competitive nature that guys like Nick Sirianni have with the energy. These are guys that usually have this idea and they want to get you to believe their idea. They're not just going to say yes to whatever you say. So again, I don't know Nick Sirianni, but it just seems to me like all this yes man stuff I think is a little bit overblown. And Mike K, I follow him on Twitter, a great follow. He writes for NJ.com, wrote an article about Zach Pascal, wide receiver for the Colts, and he had some really good things to say about Nick Sirianni. When he said that Nick Sirianni will put guys in positions to succeed, so basically he'll play guys to their strengths, and that he keeps players fired up. He's very passionate, and he brings the best out of any player. Now, this is a player that has played with Nick Sirianni, or has been coached by Nick Sirianni, I should say, and has no more ties to him as Nick is in Philadelphia. There are many other Colts players who have also praised Nick Sirianni. So again, you got to watch who you follow's words. I'm not going to look at Michael Robinson's words and put a lot of stock into them. I would look at guys that have been around Sirianni. So it's not all doom and gloom. And again, I'm sure Michael Robinson did this to get the reaction that he's getting, not just from me, but I've seen all over my timeline. Again, I'm sure you have as well. And Lane Johnson actually went on Twitter and said, basically, say the names then. Stop hiding. Hashtag fake news. Again, you should see a graphic with his exact words. But Lane Johnson, look, man, he's not pulling any punches.
Gonna hit me with the 40 piece. Pat, 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 pat.
We going to the strip club. You gonna say 500? Yeah, Joe, hit that shit. Hey.
I'm sure him and a lot of the other guys on the team, I saw Fletcher Cox put something out saying who's lying now. A lot of these guys are probably tired again of the bullshit, and it's going to show on the field. These guys have to put it all together on the field to get everybody to stop. Again, I bring back 2017. We all remember what Mike Lombardi said about Doug Peterson being the least qualified head coach in the league, and then, of course, he wins a Super Bowl. Some things can fire up teams and can be bulletin board material, as we saw in Jason Kelsey's Super Bowl winning speech. He brought that up. Maybe this is something that they'll bring up in the years to come with Nick Sirianni. I hope so. Again, I am not going to put the guy down until he proves me wrong. I think he's going to be good. Prove me wrong, Nick Sirianni. If you're not good, you'll definitely hear it here on ENN. With that being said, guys, I've rambled and run my mouth about this enough. Everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated in this god-awful heat, at least on the East Coast. The humidity is like going outside and getting a cup of water thrown in your face. Just absolutely takes your breath away. Again, us East Coasters are dealing with it right now. I definitely envy everybody on the West Coast that doesn't have to deal with all this humidity. With that being said, guys, everybody just stay safe. Go Birds. I'll see you later.
My stupid fucking video.